We would like to acknowledge the Yuggera people and the Turrbal people as the traditional custodians of Meanjin, the lands on which we record this podcast today. We pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. Always was, always will be, Aboriginal land. Hello and welcome to For the Health of It podcast, a podcast made for healthcare professionals by a nurse on the inside. So my name is Jess Tully and I am your podcast host today, but I'm also the brand ambassador for Healthcare Australia and also a registered nurse with Healthcare Australia. So today's episode is something that we have been planning behind the scenes for a very, very long time. So we have been trying to design an Indigenous and Torres Strait Islander themed scrub set as a limited edition giveaway to our incredible staff, especially the ones working in remote area nursing, Indigenous communities. So the biggest thing about, doing these creations is the artist. That's the most important factor in these decisions. And we looked high and low and we did some deep dive stalking. I especially did. And I found an incredible artist. So we've got Beau Pennefather Motlop, who is Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander descent, living in Cairns, Gimoy land. And he is just such an incredible artist. He honestly is doing such an incredible job, and he is doing what his purpose is, that's for sure. So we are interviewing Beau today. He's talking about his journey, his past, his history, how he got into artwork and, what he's doing now. And he collaborated with Healthcare Australia and did this incredible design for us, which we have now put on our scrub top. So if you are listening to this podcast, you can actually watch the video version on either YouTube or Spotify. Unfortunately, Apple Podcasts and other platforms don't have it. But if you want to jump online and have a look, I'm actually wearing the scrub top right now. I'm showing it off in the video and it is incredible. The design, the symbols, everything, it works so well. So I also asked Beau during the episode to talk us through the different symbols and the different meanings that he's placed on this design that work with Healthcare Australia and what we're doing with healthcare Indigenous communities. And he's done such a great job with explaining it. So honestly, this is such an incredible episode. We're going behind the scenes. We're interviewing our incredible artist, Beau Pennefather Motlop. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Make sure you give us a rating. And if you want to have a look at his artwork, just head on to his Instagram, which I'll put onto the show notes as well. Welcome to the podcast, Beau.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We're so excited to chat to you. This episode is about kind of highlighting you as our artist. We've done this collaboration and we are so happy to have chosen such an incredible artist to do this project with us. I would love to know a little bit about you. Where did you grow up? Where have you come from? And what inspired you to kind of get into that creative path of becoming an artist?
My father is half Maori from Aotearoa or New Zealand. So my mother and father met here in Cairns, but then moved to Auckland and had us kids and stuff over there. They separated and Mum moved us back to Cairns in the late 80s. So I was about 8 years old when we came back to Cairns. My mother's Aboriginal. She's Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander. The Aboriginal side is a tribe called Jitterbile, which is sort of a rainforest saltwater tribe. And my grandfather is the Torres Strait Island blood. And he's from a tribe called Wagadugum. They're known as the Kadal clan or Crocodile clan. And they're on Mabiag Island in the Torres Strait, West Torres Strait, just above Bardu Island. So I spent some time in New Zealand, obviously, till I was 8 years old. And then I've been here ever since 1988 in Cairns, living in a housing commission complex, which due to the low socioeconomic neighborhood, it's predominantly Indigenous. So it's not a formal Indigenous community, but it just is. There wasn't a lot of non-Indigenous in there anyway. So
nice. So a bit of a history there. So I didn't expect you New Zealand as well. So you obviously was in Auckland as well for 8 years.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad, well, my nana's quite strong. She was quite strong into the Māori culture over there. So I've got kind of the best of both countries.
Yeah.
Because the culture is still very strong in New Zealand. It's kind of like where we want Australia to be, I guess,
Yeah.
with our culture here. So yeah.
Yeah.
And what you're doing there, what you guys are doing there, is a huge step in the right direction with the scrubs and asking me for art. So
Absolutely. It's been something that's a long time coming, obviously. We just wanted everything to be perfect. And I'm so glad that we found you. I actually got a connection with you because I've done work myself in the Torres Strait Islands in Thursday Island. And just from meeting people that live on the island and talking with them and saying, we want an artist. Who do you recommend? And that's how I got your name. And I was like, perfect. I did some deep dive stalking. Yeah, I do a good stalking online. And I was so impressed with all your designs on your Instagram page and your About Me section.
Thank you.
I thought you were a perfect fit. So the scrubs have literally, they're a dream come true. So thank you for being part of it all. When you were,
no, that's okay.
When you were young, were you always kind of into that kind of creativity and kind of doing artwork, or did that come a little bit later in life?
No, from as early as I can remember, I was drawing. I was always drawing. My nana in New Zealand is she was, sorry, I keep saying is, she's passed away, but she was quite an established artist herself. So I would look at her paintings and try to mimic them and draw with like crayons and coloring and pencils. So for as long as I can remember, I was always drawing and mucking around with pastels and stuff. And then like when I went to primary school and stuff, I couldn't concentrate on anything that the teacher was saying because I was always just drawing in the corners of my exercise books. And no matter the subject, I'd just be sketching away in the corner and just miss everything they've said. Yeah, so I will always look forward to art class, obviously. And then when you move on to high school, like depending on how good your art teachers are, they try to see that you are talented and try to, embrace that and get you sort of moving in the right direction and focus on your strengths and that. And that kind of happened. I had a really good art teacher in high school. So I had actually a couple that really helped with developing your skills and extending the mediums that you use.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And having those teachers in life stay with you forever, hey?
They really do. They really do. You don't realize the importance of teachers until you get older. Like, yeah. So when I see them around now, I make sure I always give them a lot of time.
Absolutely.
They gave me a lot of time.
It can be very positive, but it can also be quite negative. Whatever how a teacher, I guess, what they discuss with you and like, whether you have strengths or weaknesses, like it does stay with you forever. Like I'm in my 30s now and I think about certain things teachers said to me that were actually quite negative. I had a teacher say to me, "Oh, you'll never be a nurse, Jess. I think maybe hairdressing's more your thing." And this was a career advisor. And I was like, oh my God.
Wow, beautiful.
I'm going to show you.
I'm going to show you. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's so great. You had so much support. What happened after with high school as well? Did you end up studying art or did you just like, get out of school and just focus like on art and just make that your thing?
No, it wasn't. I left high school and like I continued to draw in my spare time and stuff. But really, I just thought, like now you have to get a job now. You have to sort of move into the workforce. All that stuff went on the back burner. I still continued to practice when I could, but obviously you don't have the time like you did in high school to do that. I still always loved art and would go to art galleries and stuff and see other people's art and go, oh man, I need to get back on it and stuff. But it wasn't for like another, I'm going to say like 10 years after high school that my wife actually said, look, your stuff's really good. You should start focusing on it again. I was like, oh yeah, maybe. And then I come home from work one day and she had bought me all this art materials and paints and cleared an area in the house, like a studio. I was like, okay, well, I don't have any excuse now. I gotta do it.
That. So what support? That's incredible support.
Yeah, she really made it a reality for me, I guess you could say. So yeah. So ever since then I've just been refining my skills and I'm at a place where I'm at now with my artistic talent.
Yeah, you've done so well. So run me through the art that you do, because I'm unsure. Do you do this on the computer or do you do this on a canvas? Or I'm clueless about any artwork whatsoever. But
No,
tell
that's
me through your process of how you kind of do everything with your art.
yeah. Well, I started like everyone starting out. You're quite limited in your thinking, so you just reach for the canvas and the paint, and you're just like, oh well, this is how it's done, so I got to do it too. So that's where I started, and then it wasn't until probably 5 or 6 years ago when an event organizer from, I think he was from Sydney, he just called me randomly through Instagram and asked me to do a digital art show at an event up here in Cairns. And I said, I've never done digital. I don't know if I can do that. And he said, look, I'll buy you one. You've got 3 weeks to learn. Yeah, and I'll buy you what the material, the iPad. Um, iPad is what I draw on. I didn't say that yet, but yeah, iPad is what I draw on. And he basically said, yeah, you got 3 weeks to learn, and I'll pay you to do the show. And whatever you draw on the iPad will be projected up on a huge wall where all the people are having their little snacks and drinking and stuff. So yeah, so basically I had 3 weeks I was day and night cramming in how to use it. So yeah, his name was Chad. He's an event organizer from Sydney. Yeah, Sydney or Melbourne, one of the two. But yeah, I got him to thank for pushing me over that. I wouldn't say pushing, but no, I'm going to say pushing. Yeah, into the digital art world. Yeah. So, and then ever since then, I realized the possibilities and the capabilities of this program that I use now. And yeah, ever since then, I still get commissioned for acrylic artworks, but digital is the primary medium I use now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see that stuff. I'm so clueless when it comes to this stuff, but I did
Yeah.
notice with your artwork that it was in a digital form. But it looks amazing, and the colors pop, and you can still see there's so much creativity in the pieces.
Yeah, there really is.
That is so good.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've obviously done a design for our company for our scrub set. And you've done such an incredible design, and it's gone beautifully on our scrub set. Go through
It
how
really
did you
has.
it has. How did you go through
Oh,
the creation of creating our artwork for our company? Talk us through that process.
I knew that you guys traveled to a lot of communities around Australia. I knew you went to the Torres Strait. I know that the healthcare in these areas is really, really lacking. And I knew like that you guys were doing some really incredible work in those communities. Um, and I know from all my aunties and uncles and grandmas and granddads that have passed and are still here, like without that support and stuff, like they really struggle in the community. It was a struggle in general, really. So I had an idea about where I wanted to go with the piece, but knowing the stuff that you guys do really made me. It's hard to articulate the word I want to use because it's another dimension, I guess you can say, of creatism when you're really happy with what an organization is doing. So just making sure everything links and flows and goes together really well is how I envision you guys would be when you go into community. I wanted the artwork to flow like you guys would go in. So and then flow and then work together. So that's kind of the picture I had in my head when I was creating it.
No, you've done really well. I've actually got it in front of me now. And I love that you have, you've pointed out different sections of your artwork and you've said like what each means. So you've got one here that says the healing spirits. So when you're kind of designing, how do you put that forward? Are you just drawing and creating and then you're so in the zone? It sounds like you're just so in the zone because you've got this project that you're doing and then you just like focus so heavily on it. Do you know what you're doing as you're doing it, or is it just, do you finish the artwork and then you're kind of like, wow, it's just all come together?
I'll go through different symbolisms and see what works for me in my head.
Perfect.
That would represent healing spirits really well, as well as other parts of that painting. But yeah, like you said, I do get in the zone and I can be painting till very, very late at night where my wife will say, oh, are you going to go to bed soon? And I'm like, what's the time? Like, I don't even know what the time is. Like, or you're like, are we going to eat dinner soon? And I'm like, oh, wow, what's the time? Just
What
because
day
I've
is it?
been,
What's the
yeah,
time? I'm in the zone. I'm doing this.
that's right. Who am I? I don't know. Um, um, yeah, so you do get in the zone, and um, yeah, the creative stuff just comes to you, I guess. Like everyone says, it's a gift you've been given, and yeah, it's kind of hard to put into words what it is. So I guess you just kind of have to see me doing it.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
God, you should take some videos
maybe a
if you
time lapse.
don't.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
time
should do a
lapse.
time lapse.
Yeah,
What is
yeah.
the Zenadith connection? I'm probably saying this wrong. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. This is Zenith Kess. Yeah.
Yeah, what is
Um,
that connection? Because I love that part of the artwork as well.
Zenith Kess is actually a an acronym.
Mhm.
It was a acronym created by that uncle up there, and it was to incorporate the winds of Zenith. So the northeast, southwest winds. There's a number of meanings to the acronym, but it is an acronym. So every time you spell it, it has to be all in capitals
Mhm.
because it is an acronym. It's not actually a word, and that's his words. Uncle Ephraim Barney, that's the one. Ephraim Barney.
Yeah.
The artwork of that nature is quite contemporary because there's so many. It's such a melting pot of cultures in the Torres Strait. A lot of the patterns and stuff up there are inspired by patterns from Polynesia, Papua New Guinea, Southeast Asia. So they've just been altered and changed to reflect the environment and animals and everything that are in the Torres Strait, the wind and everything. So my particular patterns represent things like the tide in and the tide out, the sun up, sun down, moon up, moon down, seasonal weather changes, also weaving patterns for strength and solidarity. So that's what my patterns kind of reflect, and that's part of my creative process over the years. They don't represent that for everyone because, like I said, that's a contemporary version of Torres Strait art. It's not a traditional one, and it continuously changes and grows as we move into the future. A lot like Aboriginal art, but a little different again. A lot more repetitive shapes and patterns, and yeah, it's on the scrubs.
Yeah, it's on the scrubs. You're like, just look closely on the scrubs and you'll see it.
Yeah, it's on there. It's on there.
Yeah, no, it's an incredible design, and we're so happy to see the final process. This has been going on for, honestly, behind the scenes about 18 months. Organizing, kind of discussing, because we had to get the scrubs first, and then, finding an artist that we believed in as well was really difficult because we wanted to have the perfect collaboration. And I think that's what took so much time as well, is because we wanted to have a really, professional artist who really connected with what we were trying to do. And you were absolutely a perfect fit for that. So we're so happy with this project and how it's turned out. And it's so happy to show you the final project, but I'm wearing it right now. So it's on video right now.
So good.
It's so nice. What other collaboration work have you been doing since you've been getting into this digital path?
I've done quite a few, actually. I've been lucky enough to get quite a lot of work with different corporations and businesses. I've done some major projects with the World Wildlife Federation. To do with their net-free reef initiative. That was a huge thing for me because a lot of my art advocates for protecting animals and defending the wild. So that was a huge sort of a thing to get for me, was the World Wildlife Federation. Also done the Save the Dingo project, all the artwork for them. They have a huge movement in Australia to change the laws around protecting dingoes. So I did a lot of work for them as well. And I recently got the it was actually an art competition. I still enter competitions because I think they're so cool, and it's a really good avenue for exposure as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it was for the inaugural First Nations Queensland basketball tournament. Yeah, that's 3 I can think of off the top of my head.
Amazing. And now Healthcare Australia.
Yeah. And I was really excited to get that call from you guys too, because I really know the importance of healthcare and that support, man, in the community. I see it every day.
So good. We're so excited to be giving some recognition to those nurses, and doctors that work in the communities, like with our company. So we want to give them support and and give them this shirt, because it's limited edition, this shirt, for our very special nurses that who are going out into these communities and really and helping and changing and evolving, and they're constantly studying as well, because they want to provide these communities with the best care possible, because sometimes these communities only have 2 nurses at a time for an entire community, and they want to make sure that they help as much as they can. So these scrubs are designed for these particular nurses and doctors and AINs and allied health workers. So we're really, really excited. 2024 is going to be very exciting for the company with this club as well.
Nice.
We are stoked.
That's cool.
So what is next for you? Are you juggling full-time work and being this like incredible artist at the same time?
I resigned from my full-time government position in November last year. I was there for 12 years. So I resigned to concentrate on my art career.
I love it.
So yeah, so it was a big step for me, and yeah. So it's been a year now, and it's been amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm hoping that everyone gets on your Instagram and go up for some designs and to support your business that you're building, because I mean that's incredible, the growth you've had since quitting that job. I think you've totally done the right decision and following your path.
Thank you.
What is your website? What is your Instagram for our followers?
Well, at the moment I only have my Instagram account. It works really, really well as far as business goes. And it's Beau _Motlop _art. So should I spell that out?
Yeah, spell it out.
Yeah, so it's BEAU _MOTLOP _art or ART.
Perfect. And then you do have a really good YouTube video, and I remember because when I was deep dive stalking you, I really love that YouTube video that you put up, about and about the work you do.
That's cool. That was a really good one. Yeah, it's a good day, that one.
I know, that was a really, because that's what kind of, I was like, yeah, this is the guy, everybody. I found him. We need to meet now. And just going through your Instagram and seeing all your incredible artwork, like you've got such creativity and such skill, and we're so incredibly lucky to have you as our collaborator. So thank you so much.
No, thank you for asking me. It's my pleasure.
And especially for taking time out of your day, because I'm sure you are a busy bee, but I really appreciate it.
No, that's okay. Anytime. Thanks heaps for having me on.
No worries at all. So everyone, go onto Beau's Instagram, have a look. I'm going to put the YouTube link in the show notes as well. You can have a little clip and watch that video, because it's really incredible, and just show some support. And hopefully you might get a limited edition scrub set, but we'll see who the lucky winners are. All right, everybody, make sure to share the podcast and share the love. See you later.